Welcome back to ICA International QSET online coaching. This is the continuation for the unit 5, that is microbiology, and today we'll be going to learn in detail regarding the immunological topics. So, first one is antigen. So, antigens are substances that elicit, that creates an immune response and react with the products of that response, that is, which reacts with the antibodies. So, they are called as antigens. So, the term itself, antigens, that is antibody generator. So, antigens are the substance that creates an immunological response and which always reacts with this antibody. And they can be like proteins, nucleoproteins, polysaccharides, some glycolipids, or even in fact a whole cell or organisms like bacteria and things. So hay fever is an example for, that is an allergic reaction, that is immune response or allergic response to pollen, because his or her immune system regards that particular pollen dust as an antigen. So hay fever or allergic rhinitis. It can be with symptoms like itchy eyes and running nose, etc. So it is a severe allergic reactions. So this antigen and that's ability, it depends on its size and structural complexity. So they can have several antigenic determinant sites or epitopes. So the particular site, that is epitopes, are the regions or sites in the antigen that bind to antigen binding site of a specific antibody or with a T cell receptor. So the regions in this antigen that react with or that bind with this antibodies specific, that is antigen binding site or with a T cell receptor. So they are termed as epitopes. So the analog for this epitope in case of this antibody is that paratope. Then haptens. Haptens are small molecules, organic molecules. That is, actually they are not antigenic by themselves, but can become antigenic if they bond to a large carrier molecule such as a protein. So such small molecules are termed as haptens. So in this figure you can see that, so these are hapten molecules, and when they bind with a carrier molecule and they form a hapten carrier conjugate. So this is big enough to elicit an immune response. So they cannot stimulate antibody formation or T cell responses by themselves, but can react with antibodies once formed. That is, once they form the hapten carrier conjugate. So when lymphocytes are stimulated by the combined molecule, they can react to either the hapten or the large carrier molecule. So hapten molecules are not antigenic by itself, but when they combine with the carrier molecules like any proteins, they become large enough, that is hapten carrier conjugate, and then they elicit an immune response. So the cells, our lymphocytes, can of course react with either this hapten molecules or this carrier molecule, that is either to this hapten molecule or this carrier molecule. So they can combine and create an immune response. So this conjugation of a hapten to a carrier protein makes the hapten immunogenic, because the carrier protein can be processed and presented to specific T cells. So example for this haptens are penicillin, then dinitrophenol, etc. So by itself penicillin is not antigenic, that is, it is a hapten, but when it combines with certain serum proteins of sensitive individuals, the resulting molecule does initiate a severe and sometimes fatal allergic immune reaction. In these instances, the hapten is acting as an antigenic determinant on the carrier molecule. So this is a hapten carrier conjugate regarding the penicillin. So penicillin here is hapten, and when it combines with the serum proteins, that is the carrier molecules here, then they form the hapten carrier conjugate. And here in this example, there is a severe allergic immune reaction. So here this hapten, that is penicillin, is acting as an antigenic determinant on the carrier molecule. So that reacts with the cells and create an immune response. So next is the super antigens. And there are certain antigens that create a drastic immune response, and they are called super antigens because the severity will be in highest its peak because they create a drastic immune response. So some examples are like they are bacterial proteins like staphylococcal enterotoxin. They non-specifically stimulate these T cells to proliferate by interacting with both class 2 major histocompatibility complex, that is class 2 MHC products on antigen presenting cells and T cell receptor. That is, they stimulate these T cells to proliferate continuously to divide by interacting with both MHC class 2 products on this antigen presenting cells, anti-T cell receptor. So they react with antigen presenting cells and T cell receptors. So example for the superantigens are staphylococcal enterotoxins that cause food poisoning and the toxin that causes toxic shock syndrome. Some examples are this one, staphylococcal enterotoxin, and of course the toxin that causes toxic shock syndrome. And they cause symptoms by stimulating the release of massive quantities of cytokines from T cell. So it is mentioned that they create a drastic immune response, and how these super antigens are doing is that we have seen here they will combine or stimulate these T cells to proliferate because they interact with this antigen presenting cells, MHC class 2 molecules and T cell receptor on this T cell. So this causes enormous release of cytokines from this T cell. So a cascade or a chain of immunological response or reaction is carried out. So next is the antibody. So we have mentioned in the antigen that the antibody generators are antigens. So what is an antibody? So antibody or immunoglobulin, that is Ig, is a glycoprotein produced by the plasma cells. So plasma cells are actually the B cells. So B cells that produce antibodies are termed as plasma cells, and it is made in response to an antigen and can recognize and bind to that antigen that caused its production. So that is, the antigen's epitopes will be binding to this antibody's paratope, that is antigen binding site. And F.M. Burnett proposed his clonal selection theory, that is, where clones of specific B cells that give rise to plasma cells producing antibodies against specific antigens. So there will be numerous B cells in our body, and a particular antigen will react with particular B cells, and that particular B cells are produced in large number. That is, a clone of that specific B cells are produced, and they will modify to plasma cells, that is antibody producing B cells, plasma cells, and this plasma cells will generate antibodies and destroy this particular antigen. And they can also be memory cells because to react with this particular antigen severely next time there will be memory cells also. So these are present in the blood serum, tissue fluid and mucosal surfaces of vertebrate animals. And this basic typical structure of this antibody consists of 4 polypeptide chains connected by disulfide bonds. So this is chain 1, chain 2, chain 3 and chain 4. 4 chains, that is 2 heavy chains and 2 light chains. So this pink colored large one, that is the heavy chain, and this blue colored and that small one, that is the light chain, and they are interconnected by disulfide bonds. So the element very important in this antibody protection, that is sulfur, because sulfur is very important because that is helping to form the disulfide bridges or the disulfide bonds. So it has typical structure of antibody has 2 heavy chain and 2 light chains, and each containing 2 different regions, that is a constant, that is HC, constant region and variable region. So variable region is subjected variable, it is different, and constant regions are constant for all particular antibodies. So there is constant region for heavy chains, that is CH, and constant region for light chain, Cl, and variable regions for this heavy chain, VH, and variable region for this light chain, that is VL. So constant regions have amino acid sequence that do not vary significantly between antibodies of the same class. So in constant regions, amino acids will not be varying. But in variable regions, the amino acid sequences do vary. So it has different sequences there. And it is a variable region that when folded together form the antigen binding sites. So the fold chains are arranged in the form of a flexible Y, right? It is a Y-shaped structure. Flexibility. And this here, flexible region, and that is the hinge region. And the stalk of the Y is termed as crystallizable fragment, that is FC. So this is the FC region, that is crystallizable fragment, that is stalk, and contains the site at which the antibody molecule can bind to a cell. So here this FC region, that is crystallizable fragment region, this particular site or region binds to the cell, that is for example B cell. And the top of the Y consists of two antigen binding fragments, that is FAB. So this is the FAB region, and this is the antigen binding fragment or antigenic determinant science compatible region, that is paratop. So here the antigens epitopes bind, and this is the antibodies paratop region or the antigen binding fragments. And the FC fragments are composed only of constant regions, whereas the FAB fragments have both constant and variable regions. So it is visible in the picture. So more specifically, the light chain can be like two types. There is kappa or lambda. Within the light chain, variable domain are hypervariable regions or complementarity determining region, that is CDRs, because they differ in amino acid sequence more frequently than the rest of the variable domain. That is the light chains variable region, that is VL region. They are like hypervariable regions because they greatly differ in amino acid sequences more frequently than the others. So the amino acid sequence of this region determines the classes of heavy chains, and in humans there are 5 classes of heavy chains that is mainly designated by the Greek letters. So there is gamma, there is IgG, then there is alpha, there is IgA, then there is mu, so that is IgM, then delta, then IgG, IgD, and of course epsilon, that is IgE. So there is IgG, IgE, IgD, IgM, and IgA, mainly 5 classes of this heavy chains. So in this figure itself it is visible. So IgM is like pentameric, like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. They are joined by J, that is joining chains. And IgA can exist as a dimer, that is 2. So these are some physiochemical properties. So most abundant one is the IgG. And here IgG also can cross this placenta, that is from the mother to the fetus. Antibody IgG are being passed. So these are some of the way. Then so the first antibody generated like after antigen stimulation, that is the during the primary response, IgM is produced in abundance. So these are then mainly this IgE is involved in anaphylactic reaction, anaphylaxis, that is severe allergic reaction, and they can be also important for resistance to this helminthus. And IgA are mainly secretory antibodies. So these are different immunoglobulin classes, and where the FC binds to IgG to phagocytes like macrophages, then IgE to mast cells and basophils. So the designations are there, then their main function.